When you're down and worried, lift your hands up to the sky, and He's glorified. But when you look to the world, well, there ain't nothing you will find but emptiness inside. You've got to hand your cares over to Jesus to get satisfied. When I was down and troubled, I found out just how many friends cared about my life. And then my problems doubled, and I filled up with discouragement. I broke down and cried. Yeah, but when I took my cares over to Jesus, I got satisfied. You gotta take your cares over to Jesus if you want to get satisfied. Hey, He took me in His arms and He held me tight. He said, son, don't you worry, I'll be right here by your side until you're sure you're satisfied. Now I stand here as your witness to the true and the tried. You've got to hand your cares over to Jesus if you want to get satisfied. So when you're down and troubled, lift holy hands up to the light, and He's glorified. And don't look back on the world, 'cause there ain't nothing left to find but one bad disguise. You got to hand your cares over to Jesus to get satisfied. Yeah. Hand your cares over to Jesus if you want to get satisfied.
All right, Oops, sorry, my microphone muted again on me.
I was just going to say, Jeremy, I couldn't hear a word you were saying.
My apologies. I don't know why it always does that for some reason. Hey. And Shabbat Shalom, Mishpaha. And no worries, Andrea. It's all good. Good to see you here. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Love it. This wonderful day of rest to Yahuah. So today we are going to, we're going to start with the Torah portion, which is Yithro. And we're going to read Exodus chapters 18 to 20. Then Isaiah chapter 6 to chapter 7, verse 6. And then a little bit out of chapter 9 as well. And then Matthew chapter 19, 16 to 26. And that'll be our Torah portion today. We're all finished up with going through the book of Jubilees. We finished that up last week. And it was all about really the importance of the festivals, specifically Passover and unleavened bread, and the Sabbath as well. So we're going to continue today, and afterwards, after the Torah portion, we'll read the next few chapters out of the book as well. And very important stuff. Really, it's going through and proving out how sighting moons and sliver moons and things like that is not scriptural. It's not something we're told to do, and it actually comes from Babylon. But Shabbat Shalom, Mishpaha. Great to see you all here. And before we get started, let me first say a prayer, and then we'll get right into it. And we'll start from Exodus chapter 18. Father Abba Yahuah, we come to you in prayer to ask for your guidance and your blessings and your Ruach to be here as we read and we study through your word. Please help to give us discernment to be able to sift through the lies we've all been taught and to learn and understand your truth so we can better follow you and your ways. Help us to renew our hearts and our minds and our Ruachs to better follow you as well, Father. And I wanted to thank you for this amazing fellowship. You know, all of us coming together here is such a wonderful thing. And we truly are Mishpaha. I love each and every one of you. And I'm just thankful to you, Yahuah, for all of this. And without you, we are nothing. I also wanted to say a prayer for everybody struggling through different trials, tribulations, sicknesses, no matter what it may be. We all need your help, and we need your strength to be able to endure to the end. And I pray all these things to you in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, and let it be so. And Shabbat Shalom, Sister Kayleen as well. Made it right on time. Oh, and we got Bobby and Marissa and Silas. Just perfect timing. All right, so we'll start here in Exodus. And if anybody would like to help read a chapter or two, please let me know. I know Sumi and Brandon said they had spotty signal today. So unfortunately, they won't be able to help read. Awesome. Thank you, Sister Tracy.
Yes, and if the palm trees are disturbing, just let me know.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, awesome. Okay. So chapter 19, you can read chapter 19 if you would like.
Okay.
That would work. Awesome. Thank you. And Shabbat Shalom, Sister Kelly. And Shabbat Shalom, Pacey family. Are they here actually? I know she's part of the Pacey family. But all right. So we're going to continue here reading through Exodus. And so this is after they had left Egypt. We went over the reason why the Egyptians were punished the way they were, especially specifically in Jubilees. And then, of course, the importance of Passover, unleavened bread, the Shabbat, all of these things. And so we're going to continue here, Exodus chapter 18. And Yethro, the Kohen of Midian, Moshe's father-in-law, heard of all that Elohim had done for Moshe and for Israel his people, that Yahuah had brought Israel out of Mitzrayim. And Yethro, Moshe's father-in-law, took Zipporah, the wife of Moshe, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom. For he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land. And the name of the other was Eliezer. For he said, the Elohim of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Yethro, Moshe's father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moshe in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of Elohim. So there's some going to be upcoming important details about Yethro, and a few chapters down the line, it's going to make claims that there's another father-in-law of Moshe. But it's this term father-in-law that actually will come into question when we get to it. So it doesn't specifically mean father-in-law. It can mean a close relative, a companion, things like that. So it just would depend on the context of what is written. But I just kind of wanted to point that out right now, because it's going to be something we're going to get into later on here. And then we also see he brought Moshe's sons and his wife from the land of Midian, where he was a priest at, actually. So pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, I mean, that could be the case as well, but I believe it's not, because, well, really, when there's 2 different names, it's usually mentioned in Scripture. For that, we don't see 2 different names given to Jethro. So I believe it's another person, and we'll get into that when we get there, but yeah. All right, so we see Moshe, he was doing all of this. He went to Egypt, all of that by himself, except with his brother Aharon. So he had left his wife and his children back in Midian. But now they came to Mount Sinai, the mountain of Elohim. Well, one of the mountains of Elohim. And continuing verse 6, and he had said to Moshe, I, your father-in-law Yethro, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons with her. And Moshe went out to his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. And they asked each other about their welfare, and they went into the tent. And Moshe told his father-in-law that all that Yahuah had done to Pharaoh and to the Mitzrites for Israel's sake, all the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and Yahuah had delivered them. All praise to the Most High Yahuah. And Ken had something interesting about, are you here? Yeah. Didn't you had mentioned something about Moses' sons before. I believe it was you. I can't remember what it was, but I know it was something important.
Wasn't me,
I
Jeremy.
think it was about his... Oh, hey. Shalom, brother.
Yeah, Shalom, everyone. I don't think it was about. I can't remember anything that you just mentioned there. Don't think it was me.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, it was some time ago, but I don't remember what it was about. Maybe it was someone else. I don't but I remember it had something to do with, it's because it's the sons of Aharon that become the Levitical priesthood and not the sons of Moshe, which is really interesting because they're both from Levi. Maybe it's because they were from Midian, half Midianite.
Or was it because they weren't circumcised at birth like they were supposed to be?
Interesting.
I know that they got circumcised later because you see his wife circumcising them herself when they're on their way. And so I don't know if that makes a difference.
Interesting. Yeah. Because they do get circumcised. That's when she's like, oh, this is a circumcision of blood and things like that. Didn't realize what was going on. But yeah, interesting. It is pretty deep, Brandon. 100%. All right. Let's see. So verse 9. And Yethro rejoiced for all the good which Yahuah had done for Israel, who he had delivered out of the hand of the Mitzrites. And Yethro said, Baruch be Yahuah, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Mitzrites, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Mitzrites. So Mitzrayim is the bondage, the slavery, same bondage we are in, and can be compared to our flesh as well. Now I know that Yahuah is greater than all the mighty ones, for in the matter in which they acted proudly above them. And it's funny because he understands that all the plagues and things like that of Mitzrayim, those were their Egyptian gods that they worshipped, being brought to naught. That's kind of what I got out of verse 11 here. Said a few weeks ago he had 2 sons, and only one was mentioned again. Yeah, it was Eleazar, I believe. He had Gershom and Eleazar. Yeah, was that you that mentioned that, Sumi? I know it was somebody and we talked about it, but... yeah, no, just some interesting stuff. But yeah, we see Jethro, he understands what happened in Mitzrayim, that their mighty ones were brought to nothing. And then continuing, oh yeah, it could have been because she was talking to you about it. Yeah. All right. Verse 12. And then Yethro, the father-in-law of Moshe, brought a burnt offering and other slaughterings unto Elohim. And Aharon came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with the father-in-law of Moshe before Elohim. And it came to be on the next day that Moshe sat to rightly rule the people. And all the people stood before Moshe from the morning until the evening. And that's kind of another big clue about a yom, a day. You know, from morning until evening is when they stood before him. And when the father-in-law of Moshe saw all that he did for the people, he said, "What is this that you're doing for the people? Why do you sit by yourself, and all the people stand before you from morning until evening?" And Moshe said to his father-in-law, "Because the people come to me to seek Elohim, and when they have a matter, they come to me, and I rightly rule between one and another, and make known the laws of Elohim and his Torah." And the father-in-law of Moshe said to him, "What are you doing? What you are doing is not good. Both you and these people with you shall certainly wear yourselves out. For the matter is too heavy for you. You're not able to do it by yourself." So he's showing Moshe that, all these thousands, it was like hundreds of thousands of people, they're all coming to Moshe by himself. And we see that Moshe explained to him to explain the Torah and the laws and all these things. And this is still just before Mount Sinai. He hasn't gone up on the mountain yet. So how does Moshe already know the laws and the Torah? Well, because he had all the scrolls and the writings passed down from his fathers since Noah. That's my thoughts anyway. But we see he already knew the Torah and the laws and things like that. And Zadok was a descendant of Eleazar. I think Eleazar was also a son of Aharon as well. Yeah. But yeah, so we see Yethro sees the burden being placed on Moshe by the people. I mean, not really a burden, but it is going to wear them out. And so he's going to make a recommendation here. Didn't know that about the scrolls and Moshe. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, so all the time prior to them all going to Egypt, and actually even during Joseph's time in Egypt, all the scrolls were passed down from the fathers, just like the blessings and things like that. And since the beginning, that's how it was done. That's how Noah had all this information. He also brought these scrolls on the ark. Then he passed all those down to his children. I know one of the apocryphal books mentions it. I cannot remember exactly which one, but I know one of them does mention the scrolls being passed down.
That's in Jubilees.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, sister. I knew it was somewhere. Our Jubilees expert, Miranda. Yeah, actually, we just read that in Jubilees, actually, in one of our Torah portions. That's right. I think we talked about it then, too. But continuing here, so Yethro is going to recommend something here to Moshe. And now listen to my voice. Let me counsel you, and Elohim be with you. Stand before Elohim for the people, and you shall bring the matters to Elohim. So really quick as well, I wanted to point out that we see that Jethro, a Midianite, knows Yahuah, knows about the laws and the Torah of Yahuah, as he didn't ask Moshe, "Oh, what's that?" when he said, "I'm teaching them the laws and the Torah." And he knows Yahuah. He's following Yahuah. So that's something very interesting that kind of sticks out. Very important too, because it wasn't just Israel that knew about Yahuah. There was many other nations that did, just as we will see with Balak and Balaam, things like that. So just some little key points that kind of get glanced over every now and then. And how do we know he was following Torah? Well, verse 20 here. And you shall warn them of the laws and the Torah, and show them the way in which they should walk, and the work which that they should do. So we got Jethro talking to Moshe, about the Torah, which shows he understood them, was no doubt following them. And remember, he's also a high priest in Midian as well. So interesting connections there. But you yourself seek out from all the people able men who revere Elohim, men of truth, hating unfair gain, and place them over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. So we see the scriptural hierarchy, just like it is with the angels in the heavens as well, just like it is with the Satans, the devils, the unclean Ruach that are here on earth. Excuse me. And they shall rightly rule the people at all times. And it shall be that they bring every great matter to you, but they themselves rightly rule every small matter. So make it lighter for yourself, for they shall bear it with you. If you do this word, and Elohim shall command you, then you shall be able to stand. And all this people also go to their place in peace. Sometimes the wording throws me off. And Moshe listened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he said. And Moshe chose able men out of all of Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. And they rightly ruled the people at all times. The hard matters they brought to Moshe, but they rightly ruled every small matter themselves. And Moshe sent off his father-in-law, and he went away to his own land. So this is where we see the establishment of the elders and the hierarchy. That's actually the same establishment and hierarchy that we see in the Dead Sea Scrolls as well, with the sons of Zadok.
You ready for chapter 19?
And yes. Yeah, absolutely. And real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead. Were
No,
you going to say something? Or?
Listening for you. I will start when you're ready.
No, my apologies. Real quick, I was just going to say, if anybody has anything to add or that sticks out to them, feel free as well. But yeah, whenever you are ready, sister.
Okay. I'm reading from the Yah Scriptures. In the 3rd month after the children of Yisrael had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, on this day they came to the wilderness of Sinai. For they departed from Rephidim and had come to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. So Yisrael camped there before the mountain. And Moshe went up to Yahuah, and Yahuah called to him from the mountain, saying, This is what you are to say to the house of Yaakov, and declare to the children of Israel, You have seen what I did to the Mitzrites, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. And now, if you diligently obey my voice and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a reign of Kohanim and a Kodesh nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Yasharel. And Moshe came and said to the elders of the people, and put before them all of these words which Yahuah had commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, All that Yahuah has spoken we shall do. So Moshe brought back the words of the people to Yahuah. And Yahuah said to Moshe, see, I'm coming to you in the thick cloud, so that the people hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. And Moshe reported these words to the people, of the people to Yahuah. And Yahuah said to Moshe, go to the people and kodesh them today and tomorrow, and they shall wash their garments. They shall be prepared by the third day. For on the third day Yahuah shall come down upon Mount Sinai before the eyes of all the people. And you shall make a border for the people all around, saying, take heed to yourselves that you do not go up to the mountain or touch the border of it. Whoever touches the mountain shall be certainly put to death. Not a hand is to touch it, but he shall certainly be stoned or shot with an arrow, whether man or beast, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds long, let them go up to the mountain. And Moshe came down from the mountain to the people, and Kodesh the people, and they washed their garments. And he said to the people, be prepared by the third day. Do not come near a wife. And it came to be on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountain. And the sound of the ram's horn was very loud, and all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought the people out of the camp to meet with Yahuah, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was in smoke, all of it, because Yahuah descended upon it in fire. And its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and all the mountain trembled exceedingly. And when the blast of the ram's horn sounded long and became very strong, Moshe spoke, and Yahuah answered him by voice. And Yahuah came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain, and Yahuah called Moshe to the top of the mountain, and Moshe went up. And Yahuah said to Moshe, go down, warn the people, lest they break through unto Yahuah to see, and many of them fall. And let the Kohanim who come near Yahuah kodesh themselves too, lest Yahuah break out against them. And Moshe said to Yahuah, the people are not able to come to the Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, make a border around the mountain and kodesh it. And Yahuah said to him, come, go down, and then come up, you and Aaron with you. And do not let the Kohanim and the people break through to come up to Yahuah, lest he break out against them. And Moshe went down to the people and spoke to them.
Awesome. Thank you. And
My pleasure.
really quick, I wanted to point out, I think it was verse 6. It was, so all of Israel was supposed to be a nation of priests, of Kohanim. That was the original design, which under the new Melchizedek order, the priesthood of Melchizedek, that's how it is. So that was just something interesting I wanted to point out. And because of their backsliding and things like that, complaining and murmuring, all kinds of different reasons, but it was Levi, specifically the tribe of Levi, that became, from then on, the chosen line of priests, which then ultimately led to Yahusha HaMashiach, because he does come from Levi and from David. But then again, another thing I wanted to point out was Mount Sinai itself. So I know we talk about Ron Wyatt's discoveries a lot. This is one of the discoveries he made. And he found Mount Sinai. He found where the top of the mountain is blackened. He even chiseled into the rocks to show that, yeah, the outside of these rocks are blackened. So these aren't black rocks, but the inside is the same color as the rest of the rock around them. So really profound and amazing discoveries he made. I know we talked about it with the parting of the sea and things like that as well. All the chariots and the wheels and skeletons and things like that have been found there. Just really remarkable stuff. And if you haven't seen any of Ron Wyatt's work, I would highly recommend watching it. All right, and then we got Exodus chapter 20. It'll be our last chapter in Exodus today. And then we're going to go on to Isaiah. All right, so Exodus chapter 20. And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahuah, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image, or any likeness of that which is under the Shamayim above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them or serve them. So, really quick, I wanted to point out some things. You know, this isn't just about making a carving or something like that. This is making an image that you will bow down and worship. That's what a idol is, a carved image idol. So if you have like a picture of like an eagle on your wall for some reason, that's not an idolization. It's just a picture of an eagle. Unless you're bowing down to that eagle and things like that, that's different. Yes, exactly. That as well, Kelly. Yeah, keeping my eagle. That video is fascinating and just proves the Holy Land in America story. Yeah, and that's another thing a lot of people make claims to is, you know, America's the Holy Land. No, Africa's the Holy Land. No, it's in Australia. No, it's in the Philippines, and so forth and so on. Really, they're missing the whole thing and the importance of the North, because I believe the true land is in the North. The land that was chosen for all the people to go to was the East, where Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden from, went to the East. So, is it important? Yes. Is it the chosen land where we're going to go? No, because that's in the North. Yeah, India probably. Yeah, there's there's many people that will say many things. So I believe it's right there in the North, 100%. Let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, verse 5. About halfway through verse 5. Yeah, the East. Yeah, exactly, Natalie. Marissa's presentation picture. That's it. All right. So verse 5. So don't bow down to them or serve them. For I, Yahuah your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the wickedness of the fathers on the children, to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. So this right here is getting into those generational curses as well. To those who hate Yahuah, the sins and wickedness of their fathers will be passed down to the other generations and so forth. This is how Ephraim passed down all that wickedness and things like that to, well, all of us who are Ephraim awakening in the little season. But let me continue. So, but showing kindness to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commandments. So even if our fathers and our ancestors, whoever it was that hated Yahuah, he will show kindness to us if we turn to him, we love him, and guard his commandments. That's how we break those generational curses. So he shows us how to break them right here. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 56. Yeah, that's a good one. Verse 7. Oh, hold on. About the eunuch and the stranger that hold fast to the covenant and keep Shabbat. Yeah. Yep. I mean, we see several examples of things like that. You know, especially, well, Daniel is probably the most popular one. But we see Yahusha doing the same things. You know, most of the prophets, most of the scribes, most of them are following, keeping Yahuwah's Shabbat, his commands, all these things. All right. Let me continue here, verse 7 real quick. And you do not bring the name of Yahuwah your Elohim to naught, for Yahuwah does not leave one unpunished who brings his name to naught. So this is what the synagogue of Hasatan does. They refuse to say his name. They will not say Yahuwah. They will not say El Shaddai. They will not say Adonai. Things like that. All they will call him is Hashem. Well, we've looked into the meaning of that and how Hashem links back to Ashema, who is a unclean Ruach that's even mentioned about in the quote-unquote Zohar and things like that. So not only do they bring Yahuwah's name to naught, but they promote another lowercase Elohim's name instead. Get to keep that last supper carving? Yeah, absolutely, brother. Don't be bowing down and worshiping it, though. My mom had given me her Noah's Ark shelf with some of the animals on it. Brother and sister mentioned that it was an idol. I said it's not. I'm not bowing down to worship it or pray to it. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the big misconception a lot of people fall for, is they just read, don't carve any of these things, and they kind of stop there. They don't read the continuation of it, where it says, do not bow down to these things. That's what it's talking about, not just a picture or a carved image. Yeah, exactly. Cherry pickers. Exactly. We see that far too often, unfortunately. Yep, there were carvings on the temple and the garments. Yeah, exactly. There were images of the cherubim on the ark itself, things like that. So is Yahuwah breaking his commands by commanding them to build these images and statues and things? No. Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Marissa. So yeah, don't bring Yahuwah's name to naught. We know that that's what many people do, not only by the synagogue of Hasatan, but in Christianity as well, because they replace his name with titles like God and Lord, things like that. You know, it was his name, Yahuwah, was removed nearly 7,000 times from the 66 book canon alone. Not to mention all the apocryphal books that had his name in it, that they also changed to those different titles. So that is bringing his name to naught, I believe. And then number 8, remember the Sabbath day to Kodesh it. literally, it's the fourth commandment of Yahuah, keeping the Sabbath day. How is it done away with and abolished? How are we keeping the commands if we're not observing the Shabbat day? In Christianity, they go to their church for like an hour after they've had, their bacon and eggs, a bunch of pork. Then afterwards they go out and usually to some restaurant or something, causing others to work. Then again with their pork products, causing others to work, spending money. They have no regard for what the Sabbath is. They just say, oh, it's all done away with. All you got to do is just believe and you're saved. Well, we all know here that that is untrue. So 6 days you labor and shall do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuah your Elohim. You do not do any work, you or your son or your daughters or your male servant or your female servant or your cattle or your stranger who is within your gates. And I don't mean to pause every 5 seconds, but there's a lot of stuff packed in here. Yeah, they're Baal ball games. Yeah, exactly, sister. But so a lot of people will try to use this as some kind of calendar statement. See, 6 days you labor and the seventh is a rest. Well, where does it say this is a calendar statement? It doesn't. This is a general statement about the Sabbath day itself. He's saying you will do your work for 6 days, but then on the Sabbath day you rest. He doesn't say this is how the calendar works every year, year to year. It's just going to be a constant 1 through 7 cycle. No. Which is why the calendar is also important to all of this. But this is something a lot of us don't realize as well, is how many days does it say to work? 6. Modern day Babylon has us taking 2 days off in a row, things like that. I'm not saying that if you do take 2 days off in a row or something like that, that you're a bad person. But I'm talking about Babylon in general. They just have it now you get 2 days off in a row. Don't worry about it. You're all good. Or, yes, like that, Heidi, as well, having to work every day. That too. Giving their servants a rest, minister to them, Yahuwah's kindness. Yeah, exactly, Tracy. But yeah, so it can go either way. So you get the 2 or more days off, or, you just don't have any days off. But the command really is to work 6 days a week and then rest on the 7th. Now, granted, work back then was also much different than the slave-induced labor for money just to barely make it by type deal we have going on today. Work was actually, providing for your family, becoming self-sufficient, not reliant on others. And work was actually done by the man as well. So this is specifically towards men. Nowadays, women have to work as well, unfortunately. So I would say 6 days a week, more towards men than women. But again, that's just my opinion. Oh, nice. You made some ziti there, Natalie. Awesome. Oh, nice. Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, there's a lot of important stuff like meat and things like that in here. And, pausing to kind of go over it while we just read it helps to, solidify that and confirm it all. Yeah, 6 days maximum for anyone. Exactly, Tabitha. Proverbs 31, woman has business and work. Yeah, exactly. Women did have work back then, but it was much different than, how we think. They didn't have the same jobs and things like that. So there wasn't this whole feminist movement, like, oh, women can do what men do. And, now we got women working construction jobs and going and fighting in war. And, these hard laborious jobs that, they're not meant for women. And it's not to put women down or anything, but it's actually more uplifting because it is the man that is supposed to take care of the woman, do all the hard, laborious things. And yes, the woman has work as well, but different type of work. Women are to work in the home, and they should base their work off of their cycle. Yes, we are designed to be able to do different things throughout the month, depending on our hormones, which shift. Sorry, I can't speak today. My apologies. Which shift 4 times throughout the month. Exactly, Andrea. 100%. That's it. This is why men are compared to the sun. Women are compared to the moon. The moon has 4 cycles each month. Yeah, if you get a aha moment, definitely let me know. Yeah, women are to be their husband's helpmeet. Every husband needs different help. Yes, exactly. Exactly. We aren't going to be doing the same thing the week before versus the week after. Yeah, exactly, Andrea. And yeah, I'm not saying that the women can't go work and things like that. Not at all. But it's the men that should have the hard, laborious work, the things like that. Because men should be, taking that kind of responsibility, as according to scriptures anyway. Just being the provider, the helper, and yes, being a helpmeet to your wife as well, and vice versa. We're supposed to be helpmeets for each other. And yes, different people have different needs. So that's why it's a individual situation and circumstance. Sorry, just reading through chat here. Some of the stuff I probably shouldn't repeat, but definitely funny. Thankful to have a husband who provides and works hard labor so I don't have to. I mean, I agree with that too, Michael. If she wants to change a car oil, let her. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Asumi loves to work on cars. See, that's awesome. Actually, I love to work on cars as well. So we got that in common. Brandon won't let me, but I get to hold the wrench. Hey, see, that's an important role. You don't know how important, actually. Because when you're under a car or you're in some situation, the last thing you want to do is have to crawl out from under a vehicle and go grab a tool that you don't have. So that is an important job as well, Sumi. The gopher, yeah. Go for that wrench. Go for that wrench. Yep, yeah, that'll happen too, Natalie. Working on cars, yeah, you lose something, You get cut, hurt. I do understand, brother. In this society specifically, we have to do things differently than the original design more often than not. Yeah. I love working with power tools, but I can't do it every single day of each month. Yeah, exactly. And that's a very good point as well. Because we are in this society specifically, we do have to do things differently than what was originally designed here. Only allowed to use a power washer. Well, hey, be careful, because those can be dangerous too. If you got bare skin close enough to that jet, it'll cut you. Awesome, as long as you know. And if you didn't know, now you know. Almost lost my hand. Yeah, they are super powerful. So yeah, if you think you're going to put your fingers in front of a pressure washer or a hand or any kind of body part, don't. It's going to hurt. And you will be lucky to keep said part. Had to learn to work on my own car. Yeah. Thank goodness for YouTube Academy. Exactly, Andrea. To be honest, YouTube will help you understand quite a bit of things. That's actually how I learned to publish the book, through YouTube Academy. I would have never known how to do that otherwise. Speaking of that, we are going to get into that here in a bit. I need to let me continue here with the reading. Although I do love the fellowship a whole lot. Built a goat fence. I was the only one tightening the woven wires to the T-post. Yeah, see, important job as well, Tracy. See, we're off topic. It is off topic, but it's on topic. So, yeah, a lot of people don't realize a lot of these little things, like people would consider trivial or unimportant, are actually very important. You know, like Sister Jermaine was saying, she's only the little hair on the little toe. Well, even that has a very important job as well. So we are all important. But let me continue here. So we read verse 10, Exodus 20, and speaking about the Shabbat, how is it not only for them, but the servants, the animals, the strangers who are within the gates, male, female, it doesn't matter. We observe the Shabbat. And why do we do that? Well, it's going to explain to us here. For in 6 days Yahuah made the Shamayim and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore Yahuah barak the Shabbat day, and kadosh it. Respect your father and your mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the land which Yahuah your Elohim has given you. Yeah, going on all these different rabbit trails. Hey, it's all good. I actually like going down the rabbit trails, different ones. And so, the leash is accurate with the meme. Yeah. So, respecting your father and your mother. So this can have a whole plethora of different meanings. Of course, I think it's more of a personal thing as well, because respecting your father and mother doesn't mean you have to obey and listen to every single command that they give you. Because if they're not following Yahuah, they're going to command you and things like that to do things that are not of Yahuah. So respecting your mother and father is not just obeying every single command that they give you. It's just having respect for them, treating them, like Messiah treated everybody else. So you do not murder. Yes, this is a correct word here, murder. So the versions that say you shall not kill, that is in grave error. People try to use that to say, see, look, you can't kill anything, because kill and murder are completely two different terms, two different meanings. So do you have to kill an animal to offer it up for slaughterings or sacrifices to Yahuah? Yes. Do you have to kill a animal to consume it for meat, for food? Yes. So murder is one specifically about another person. Like, do not go and ruthlessly kill another person. This is what that's about. Hey, Lachlan, Shabbat Shalom. And of course...
Kind of like... Oh, sorry, Jeremy.
No, go ahead.
Kind of like they had those cities of... What were they called? Refuge for the people who accidentally killed someone. It wasn't murder because it wasn't premeditated and thought. They weren't, like, avenging someone. So, like, to kill or murder an animal, we don't murder an animal, we dispatch it because it's nourishment to our body, and Yahuwah has us kill them or dispatch them for his sacrifices that are a sweet fragrance to him.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
To say what Natalie said, I think in Scripture when you have like involuntary manslaughter, weren't they like supposed to like not come back to like their town that happened in until their relatives had also passed? Like, I think it was like, like so that they don't get hurt by seeing your face. You were to like not come, like they could come back, but I think their relatives had to have been gone, maybe.
Interesting.
I'll have to look again. I know that it was like the high priest or whoever was the judge, they couldn't leave.
Yeah, until they were judged. Yeah, correct. Brandon said the same thing as well. And that was a good point as well, Natalie, because, yeah, if you accidentally cause the death of somebody else, there was those cities. So accidentally killing somebody, it's not a murder. Murder is like intentional taking of someone's life, which is something we do not do.
But it's nice because like it also gives, the family comfort, right? That they don't have to see the person that killed their whoever.
Yeah.
Okay, this might be kind of off topic, but it's something that I've been thinking on and I don't have an answer. So there's like a lot of prison ministries and stuff, and it's awesome because a lot of people come out and they've repented and they have like this whole new life, but some of these people have done some really bad things that, like, according to Torah, like they would have been put on death row. So it's just interesting how, I don't know, I guess mercy and grace and favor now, but I mean, like, even like pedos that were doing things to children or women or what have you, like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of Christians are very, and probably Torah people too, are very excited about them getting the opportunity to repent in that. And I don't know how I feel about it.
The only thing I can think of is Yahusha says that if your right eye causes you to sin, you pluck it out. I feel like anything that involves children, even if you've repented of it, I mean, I'm not like suggesting castration, but that's a very hard spirit to overcome. And Yah can make anything happen, but I don't know. I think those people that have experienced that and have done that, in my opinion, should never be around children again for their own sake too, right? Because that's a temptation that they just should stay away from.
Yeah, exactly. Because, well, one, back then they would have been stoned and things like that, because adulthood back then was the age of 20. So anything that was done before that, and again, I don't think things like that happened back then. Like, our world today is very disgusting and terrible, so these things are happening. I don't think anything like that happened back then. I mean, I could be wrong, but we see Messiah also says, anyone who harms these little ones, it would be better a millstone tied around their neck and they drown. And that's not saying someone who has committed these things can't repent, but back then I believe it would have been something that they would have been stoned for.
Well, Jeremy, in Jubilees, when the children of Israel, when their sister, when she got taken, she was 12 years old. And that's why they dole out such a harsh punishment to that city that took her and had
Wow.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I know Jacob was afraid. He was like, why did you do this? But it specifically said that it was actually pleasing to Yah, because it said, let not one of these children, or not let one of these daughters of Israel be defiled like this. So it does speak on children, and that's why there's the age of marriage, which is 20 for men and women. Anything younger than that, and it's defilement.
Yep. And you made a good point there as well, Andrea. They were willing to do those things to angels and things like that. So yeah, they probably did that too. You're probably right. But yeah, that's a good point as well, Miranda. She was like 12 years old when they got taken, and the whole city got slaughtered. So very interesting. It doesn't specifically say age of 20 for marriage, but that's the age we see in Scripture.
Actually, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, it does. I can't remember what fragment. Actually, it was you, Jeremy, that had pointed out, because
that's right.
It's in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah. That's right. It's the age of accountability, 20. I do remember talking about that quite a while ago, actually, because someone tried bringing this up. Because Judaism and things like that, they try to promote, oh yeah, it's 13 years old and things like that it's all good to marry people at. Well, we know who those people are a part of. One of the English queens gave birth at age 12. Interesting. Gave birth to Richard III. He was deformed. Interesting. Yes, exactly, Jennifer. Teen, because of the Hasmonean usurpers, the synagogue of Hasatan. Yep. They're the ones who promote all that stuff today. They're behind all this stuff. But we can't go too deep into that here on a recording. YouTube does not like that. But yeah, so, and we got a lot of chat going on. I love it. Very interesting and important topics too, as well. Yeah, so they make those claims, but yeah, that's not true. Don't you think stoning is to cut off the generational curse? Yeah, it could be, Brother Ken. I know it for a fact. It does keep the community safe because, well, look what happens nowadays when, we don't have that. We have these rapists and murderers out there, people doing detestable things and, getting slaps on the wrist and being let go, when all of the things that they've done are really a death penalty that we see. So think of it as, like a false prophet, for example. They go around saying, oh, well, like we have today, there's this and that and another thing. They're just false prophesying. Well, if that person was stoned immediately for doing these things, think of how many thousands of people would have been saved from following some false prophecy and then being led astray, therefore following and falling for it themselves.
Exactly. I've had that same thought. How, when you think about how, of course, disgusting all this stuff is and how rampant it is, right? And how many people that you find out that are connected to children, like in the school, in daycare settings, in anywhere children are, they're just there, and it's insane. And yeah, if we brought back stoning, makes you think that it wouldn't be as rampant as it is now. And I think that might be the sin for not taking care of it, is it gets overrun like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's because it's been allowed to go on and become so rampant. And I would agree, like, harsher punishments would it would lessen a lot of these things that are going on now. Like adultery is just this huge thing, being a fornicator, like all these things are just like, it's the in thing to do. Just divorce somebody because, you just like somebody else. That's the reason. All of these things, it's blatantly against what the word of Yahuah says. So what is bad, they call good, and what's good, they call bad. Michael. But all right, I love it. But all right, so we see, don't commit adultery, don't steal, do not bear false witness against your neighbor, do not covet your neighbor's house, do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. So really, do not covet anything of anybody else. Don't be jealous of what somebody else has over what you do. Don't bear false witness against neighbors. And our neighbors are everybody around us, everybody who are mishpachah, all these things. Don't go bearing false witnesses. And all the people saw the thunders, the lightning flashes, and the sound of the ram's horn, and the mountain smoking. And all the people saw it, and they trembled, and stood at a distance. and said to Moshe, "You speak with us, and we hear. But let not Elohim speak with us, unless we die." And Moshe said to the people, "Do not fear, for Elohim has come to prove you, and in order that his reverence be before you, so that you do not sin." So the people stood at a distance, but Moshe drew near the dense cloud where Elohim was. And Yahuah said to Moshe, "Say this to the children of Israel. You yourselves have seen that I have spoken to you from the Shamayim." And that's pretty important too. You know, they heard Yahuwah's voice. And they still, in the future, will choose to be led astray. "So you do not make besides me mighty ones of silver, and you do not make mighty ones of gold for yourself. Make an altar of earth for me, and you shall slaughter on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your cattle. In every place where I cause my name to be remembered, I shall come to you and barak you." So again, more clues. Every place where he causes his name to be remembered. Our bodies are the temple. We should have his name on our hearts, on our minds, remembering his name. "And if you make me an altar of stone, do not build it of cut stone. For if you use your chisel on it, you have profaned it. Nor do you go up by steps to my altar, unless your nakedness be exposed on it." So profaning what Yahuah had created, these different stones. He made them to be that way. So that's why he wants his altar to have unhewn stones on it. And all right, so that's our Exodus reading. Now we're going to get into Yeshayahu, or Isaiah. And chapter 6, we're going to start here at verse 6. And then, or sorry, not verse 6, but verse 1. Sorry, I'm going back to double check. And then we're going to read unto chapter 7, verse 6. And this is going to kind of go with the Torah portion as well. And so we're in Isaiah 6 here, beginning in verse 1. "In the year that sovereign Uzziyahu died, I saw Yahuah sitting on a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the Hayakal, the temple. And above it stood seraphim. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one cried to another and said, Kodesh, 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 is Yahuah of hosts. All the earth is filled with his esteem. And the posts of the door were shaken by the voice of him who cried out, and the house was filled with smoke." So we see the same things going on that happened at Mount Sinai as well. The smoke and the fire. "And I said, Woe to me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the sovereign, Yahuah of hosts." So who did his eyes actually see, though? The visible image of Yahuah, which is Yahusha. But also we see here Isaiah is saying he's a man of unclean lips. So he didn't always have the best things to say all the time. Maybe an F-bomb slipped out every once in a while. You know, as long as we work on these things and we're not using it in every sentence, every other word, that's 2 different things. So mistakes happen. None of us are perfect. No. I mean, for real, though. Yes, get those F-bombs out. Correct. But I'm just using that as an example. Like, things happen. We shouldn't hate somebody else because something like that. But anyways, I digress. So, and one of the seraphim flew to me, having his hand on a live coal, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. Y'all are making me crack up. So, and one of the seraphim flew to me, having in his hand a live coal, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. And he touched my mouth with it and said, "See, this has touched your lips. Your wickedness is taken away, and your sin is covered." So see here, if you're dropping F-bombs, you got to touch hot coals to your lips, guys. No? But see, the wickedness is taken away, and the sin is covered. And I heard the voice of Yahuah saying, "Who do I send? And who would go for us?" And I said, "Here I am, send me." And he said, "Go, and you shall say to this people, hearing you hear, but do not understand, and seeing you see, but do not know." Is this not the same thing that goes on today? So, for example, I don't want to always pick on churchianity, but I mean, they're really the go-to thing because they're the most prevalent. But they hear the words, but they do not understand. Why? Because they're listening to Pastor Porkchop on a pulpit preaching what he's been taught to preach others, which is a misunderstanding completely of Yahuwah's word. And seeing, sure, they see all these things, but they don't know. They don't know what's going on. They have no idea. For real, Pastor Porkchop on a pulpit. That's who these people listen to. Well, my pastor said this, or my favorite teacher says that. This guy on YouTube says this. This is why I always say, trust and follow no man. Test everything to his word for yourselves. Even everything I say. Yeah, needed a tongue twister, 100%. That's a new one everyone can use there. So we see nothing new under the sun. Dr. Seuss has nothing on me. Yeah, exactly, see? Dr. Seuss didn't follow Yahuwah. But let me continue real quick. Make the heart of this people fat, and their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and shall turn. What is turning? Repent, and be healed. Because Yahuwah does the healing when we turn and repent. Understanding with our hearts. It's always a matter of the heart. Always. Do we follow our own hearts? Do we follow Yahuwah's heart? So, and then I said, Yahuwah, until when? And he answered, until the cities are laid waste without inhabitant, and the houses are without a man, and the land is laid waste, a ruin. And Yahuwah has removed men far away, and the forsaken places the forsaken places be many in the midst of the land. But still, there is a 10th part in it, and it shall again be for a burning, like a terebinth tree and like an oak, whose stump remains when it is cut down. The Kodesh seed is its stump. I'm kind of getting season of deception vibes from these verses here. Till the cities are laid waste, the houses are without a man. Then we see there's going to be a 10th part in it, that's going to be for a burning. Different ages going on here. Very interesting stuff. Sorry, just catching up on chat. Oh, I see my name. Yeah. Yeah, nobody can pronounce my last name. It's Pyers. Yes, like pliers without the L.
Hey, Jeremy, going back to the story of Dinah, has anyone read the book of Levi in the book of the 12 pages?
I've read the book of Levi, or the Testament of Levi.
Yeah. Good book. Are you there, brother?
Yeah, if you're trying to talk, Ken, we can't hear you.
Oh no, we lost Ken. I know Ken always has something important to say.
If we see him hop back on, we should ask him what he was trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. And Shabbat Shalom Jermaine as well. I didn't see you hop on there, but I see you now. The inverting of everything, calling good evil and evil good. Yeah, exactly, Jennifer. So we really see some interesting notes here. And yeah, Ken, if you get back on, I'm definitely interested in what you were about to say there, brother. And so we're going to read up to verse 6 here in Isaiah 7. And it came to be in the days of Ahaz, son of Jotham, son of Uzziyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, that Rezin, sovereign of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliahu, sovereign of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to fight against it, but could not prevail against it. Interesting stuff. And it was reported to the house of David, saying, Aram is allied with Ephraim, and his heart and the heart of his people were moved as trees of the forest and are moved with the wind. So we see here one of Ephraim's mistakes siding with Aram. And Yahuah said to Yeshayahu, go out now to meet Ahaz, you and Shear Yashub, your son, at the end of the channel of the upper pool, on the highway of the launderer's field. And say to him, take heed and be calm. Do not fear or be faint-hearted, for these two stubs of smoking firebrands, for the fierce displeasure of Rezin and Aram, and the sons of Remaliahu. That's a tough one to pronounce, because Aram, Ephraim, and the sons of Remaliahu have plotted evil against you, saying, let us go up against Yehuda and tear it apart, and break it open for ourselves, and appoint a sovereign over them, the son of Tabiel. So we see this is one of the curses of Ephraim. This is why Ephraim was punished. This is why they were not, their punishment had to last until the time of Jacob's trouble, which is, well, the Great Tribulation. Yeah. Up until the Great Tribulation, yes. But we see a lot of this. It has to do with David, Yehuda, and this is actually has a lot to do with Hamashiach as well.
Hey, Jeremy, Ken is back. I didn't know if you
Oh,
wanted to talk about the Testament of Levi, what his inquiry was on that.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
yeah,
I
brother.
got kicked out completely. In the book of Levi, this is the part in the 12 patriarchs. This was just after Dinah was raped. Levi's in the field with the flocks, and he gets visited by the, I think it's called the Spirit of Understanding. So we call this the Holy Spirit, obviously. And he's taken away, and he's taken into the second, the sea of, he goes through the domes basically and meets the Most High, and God tells him what he needs to do, which is to get a sword and a shield and go in and just slaughter them. So when the vision finishes, he makes his way back home, and he comes across a shield and a sword to do it. And him with Simeon, is it? Simeon actually did they both went in and they killed him. And Jacob was getting really angry about this. And because they had agreed to be circumcised, and Jacob felt that they had sinned. But then in the book of Levi, it mentions that they were planning to do the same to Sarah and Rebecca, which I thought was quite interesting. So this carries on with this generational or group or group behavior sort of thing.
Y'all knew their characters.
Absolutely. And I've got the book open here. And I'm trying to find out where it says. It says even in Abraham's time. Here we go. And they persecuted Abraham, our father, when he was a stranger, and they vexed his flocks when they were big. So they're just giving him hassle all the time. Do you know what I mean? And they were abusing their handservants and taking away their wives. So this wasn't a short-lived thing. This is a thing that had been going on for a long time. And I think that Yah just wanted to put an end to it, which he did, quite rightly so. Just wanted to mention that. Sorry.
Yeah, their fruits were against them.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it interesting? It always goes back to fruits, really.
Well, and if you think about it, the only reason why they agreed to be circumcised wasn't because they believed in Yah and they wanted to be set apart. They only did it because the guy that stole Dinah was, I guess, like the prince or something. He only did it so that he could marry her.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you, Ken. I forgot that the Testament of Levi also goes right along with Jubilees on that.
I thought it'd be quite good to actually make a note of this for the next Torah portion. To actually, it's only I think it's the first 8 chapters, maybe the seven chapters of Levi, that where it goes to explain. I mean, it's the beginning of Levi, the book of Levi actually, and you can see that actually these people were hassling even Abraham and taking away their wives and doing these things to them. And what happened to Dinah wasn't what we would be thinking of as unusual, but a common theme.
Now, Ken, it also does say that what Levi and his brothers did to that city, it's actually written on the heavenly tablets and it's accounted to them as a...
Yes, it does. You're absolutely right. Yes, it does. Yes. Yeah, it does. Although Jacob thought that they were sin, I think Jacob was a bit scared of other people. Do you know what I mean? I think there's something about
he was scared. Yes.
Yeah, and he didn't like to rub anyone up the wrong way in case something bad would happen. But I mean, Levi was told in this vision, "This is what I want you to do." So he's following God's commands. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, written in the heavenly tablets. Yeah, well done.
I agree.
Love it.
We should do the Testament of the Patriarchs as some of the Torah portions as well. I agree with Ken,
Yeah,
100%.
that's a good idea. Except having to read through them all and try to find which ones fit, which ones is tough. But yeah, no, that would be an awesome idea. And actually, speaking of the Testament of the 12, it's the book of Simeon. It actually mentions the Messiah, Yahusha, being of Levi and David. It's actually a Testament of Simeon, chapter 7, verse 2. And it says, "For Yahuah shall raise up from Levi, as it were, Kohen, Hagadol, a high priest, and from Yehuda, as it were, a sovereign, a king. And then Elohim and man, he will save the nations and the tribes of Israel." So, Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, highly recommend if you haven't read it before. I know.
Probably getting the R.H. Charles version is probably the closest that, in my opinion, is going to be like to the originals.
Yeah.
That's the one which
I agree.
I've got. Yeah.
They were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls as well. So, another.
Do you know how many? Do you know how many?
I know only a couple of them were. So, I know Levi was one. And there's actually a couple that aren't. What's that?
Levi and Judah? Were those the only two that were found? Because I know they were very fragmented as well.
Yeah, there's Levi and Judah. There's also a couple other ones of different testaments of different patriarchs as well that aren't they aren't found in the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. I forget which ones they were. I have to go back and check again, but there were different testaments from different patriarchs as well. I know one was of Moshe. I think one was Abraham. A couple different ones. But yeah, Testament of the 12, highly recommend. Each and every one of them mention Messiah. Each and every one of them. Actually, Levi mentions him the most. Judah mentions him a lot as well. Probably because he comes from both of their lineages. The reverse Uno, yeah. All right, so we read chapter 7 in Isaiah. Now, we're just going to read Isaiah chapter 9. Really just 6 and 7. Because, very important prophecy here. For a child shall be born unto us. A ben, a son, shall be given unto us. And the rule is his, on his shoulder. And his name is called Wonder, Counselor, Strong El, Father of Continuity, Prince of Peace. And of the increase of his rule and his peace there is no end. And upon the throne of David and over his reign, to establish it and sustain it with right ruling and with righteousness from now on, even forever. The ardor of Yahuah of hosts does this. So we know who this Ben was, this son. It was Yahusha. And so we got Matthew. We're going to read here next to Matthew. And it's going to be, hold on, just double checking. Hold on, where'd it go? Sorry. Matthew 16 through 26. Sorry, I had to double check there. And this is chapter 19 in Matthew. And see, one came and said to him, Good teacher, what good shall I do to have everlasting high or life? And he said to him, "Why do you call me good? No one is good except one, Elohim. But if you want to enter into high, guard the commands." And he said to him, "Which?" And Yahusha said, "You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness. Respect your father and your mother. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself." And the young man said to him, "All these I have watched over from my youth. What do I still lack?" And Yahusha said to him, "If you want to be perfect, go, sell what you have and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in the Shamayim, and come and follow me." And when the young man heard the word, he went away sad, because he had many possessions. So really quick, I just wanted to touch, before we go off, on verse 22, but he starts laying out all the commands that this man needs to still follow. He doesn't lay them all out, most likely because this man was already keeping things like the Shabbat, things like that, not having an idol. So because Mashiach doesn't mention those here, doesn't mean that they're abolished and done away with. No, not at all. We don't know the context of what's going on there. This man could have already been following all the other ones. He was just not following those ones he specifically laid out. And we can have, we actually have evidence of that, because he cares more about his possessions than loving his neighbors, helping his neighbors, things like that. So when he heard it all, he went away sad, because he had many possessions. And Yahusha said to his Talmudim, "Truly I say to you that it is hard for a rich man to enter into the reign of the Shamayim. And again I say to you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the reign of Elohim." Why is that? Because usually the rich, they don't want to give away all their money. They only want to act like they're helping others and things like that without actually, giving away their possessions. They'll only help, like for a modern day example, we see all these elites like Billy Gates of hell and things like that, They claim he's a philanthropist and things like that because he helps out all these charities and organizations. Well, no, those are tax write-offs for him. He gets all that money right back. So is he actually giving anything away to help others? No, he's doing it for a PR, his public image. That way he can go and continue to do detestable things behind the scenes, really. So I can see what Yahusha is saying right here. And when his Talmudim heard it, they were very astonished, saying, "Who then is able to be saved?" And looking intently, Yahusha said to them, "With men, this is impossible. But with Elohim, all is possible." So we turn to Yahuah. We follow him. He will make anything possible. It's kind of cool how it continues on, actually. And then Kepha answering said to him, "See, we have left and followed you. What then shall we have?" And Yahusha said to them, "Truly I say to you, when the Ben of Adam sits on the throne of his esteem, you who have followed me in the restoration shall also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel." Yep. So those who follow him, all these apostles, the prophets before them, all of them, they're going to be a pillar in the New Jerusalem, which I believe has already happened. They are still pillars there, of course. But they are the ones who got that promise. to be part of that 1,000-year millennial reign. And again, just that's my thoughts, my view from the studies that I have done. So it's okay to agree to disagree. Man, chat is blowing up here. What is going on, y'all? Talking about music. Speaking of music, Sister Marissa, would you like to play some music for us? That's all for our Torah portion. And next we're going to be getting into my book. Which, by the way, we're going to be reading chapter 8. I want to do 8, 9, and 10 because they all go together. But we'll see how it goes. Sing me a scripture. Yeah, right now. See, everybody's they're in the crowd saying Marissa. Maybe when I'm done with reading. I need a break. That'll be a nice break. Yeah, see, Marissa. We're all cheering you on. My voice is giving out. Yay. We don't want to twist your arm, sister, but arm twist. And Shabbat Shalom, angel brother. That's pretty hilarious there, Brother Michael. No, it's all good. It's all good, Tabitha. Not very nice. So anyway, really quick, let me just kind of preview. Not this. So this is just the chapters we're going to read. So this is my book here, but this is book number 2, which I did drop the PDF in the library group. So it's available to read in the library group. I think it'll be another week or so before it's published. That way, still giving room for the first book to, have its shine. And then book 2 will be available probably a week or 2, I'd say. I haven't quite decided yet, but it's all ready to go. So really quick, I just wanted to show a little bit of it. So we have the title, which is Who Do You Say He Is? And all about the Messiah Yahusha's death, burial, and resurrection, lineage from David and Aharon, and the divinity. So this is going to be the book cover here. I do have the whole front and back cover art for the book completed. It's also in the library tab there. So all of y'all get a special preview and access to it before its release. So of course I got the just the acknowledgments page here. And the title comes from Matthew chapter 16, verses 15 and 16, where Yahusha is telling Simon and Peter, like, who do you say I am? And then, of course, table of contents. I'll just kind of scroll through the different areas here. So just starting off with the death, burial, and resurrection, proving out he observed Passover. The Last Supper was not a random, meal that just occurred at that time. No, it was the Passover, the Pesach supper that happened. He observed Passover. Then his death, burial, and resurrection, how it fits only the Zadok calendar. It will not fit a sliver moon calendar, a floating Sabbath calendar, none of these things. It's not going to fit any of that. So basically, that's where I proved that out here, showing that, well, that fits the Zadok calendar, and that Daniel prophesied the middle of the week suffering. What day did he die on? The dead middle of the week. And then the trail of spices that the women did after his death, burial, and resurrection. That is also another huge clue. I go over about artos, which is the Greek word for bread, because there's a lot of people out there that try to say, well, artos just means leavened bread. Like, it's only about leavened bread. That is very untrue, and I go through all the evidence showing it also has to do with unleavened bread. Artos is just the general term for bread. And then I go into chapter 2 here, going through Messiah being from David and Levi. So going through all the scriptures, going through Yohanan, his connection, which is very important because Yohanan the Immerser is Yahusha's cousin. Then I go through the Dead Sea Scrolls evidence showing the Messiah they were waiting for was from Aharon and David. And it's that misconstrued information that mostly comes from Judaism, why the Dead Sea Scrolls believe in two Messiahs. No, it's for the same reason that, well, Judaism believes in two Messiahs. Because they think one's going to come from David, the other's going to come from Aharon. They don't realize he's both of them. One's the conquering king, the other the suffering servant. So they have it misconstrued to where it's these two separate Messiahs that are coming, when Messiah is literally both of them. And then, of course, I know, controversial topic, but this is going to be the divinity of Messiah. And I just wanted to state plainly off the bat, this is not a Trinitarian belief at all whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I go through and debunk the Trinity doctrine here. So I really just go through the evidence and scriptures on why I believe Yahusha is Yahuah in the flesh. And oh boy, I can already see a fix I need to make because the title. Oh no, never mind. Not the title. All right, apologies. So I go through the apocryphal books and Dead Sea Scroll mentions all throughout here as well of why I believe this. And it's all backed by scripture. And here I go and debunk the Trinity doctrine, showing that the 7 Ruach of Yahuah, they are separate entities. Yes, because they are the ones around the throne. And I go over that there as well. Then, of course, just the final thoughts. And about the author. And, of course, on this one, I added QR codes to, so for example, If you're watching this on screen now, you can use your phone camera. It will take you directly to my YouTube channel. Same here for, this one is specifically for all about the calendar article. But in general, my WordPress, you can find under Zadok Calendar History at WordPress.com. So scan that QR code, take you right there. Then, of course, for book number 1, QR code for that as well. But that's book number 2 there. Like I said, it's not as long as the first one because the first one has a lot of detail, very important information in it. Not saying that this one doesn't either, but specifically being about Yahusha, his connection to the sons of Zadok, all of these things. So another very important topic, actually several ones in one here in my book. And again, I only want to share the information I have found in my studies. I only want to share these different scriptures that support why I believe this. I don't want to force, or I am not forcing my point of view on anybody. I'm not here to bash anybody over the head or kick them down the road because they don't agree exactly like I do. No, we all have a different piece of that puzzle. We all truly need each other. So whether you agree or disagree, I highly recommend studying all of this out for yourself and just really seeing it all for yourself. That's what I encourage. Yeah, not forcing anyone to look at any evidence of truth. Well said, sister. But yeah, Marissa, if you're down to play some song, awesome. Love it.
Yeah, I had to play it a little bit because the strumming is different in this one, but I liked the challenge, so. Gone by day and gone by night. It's not an easy road that leads you to the light. It's winding out, someday it'll straighten out. And it's worth it on the other side when he brings that city down. You only get one shot, everything to lose. Lord, take me now, I'm broken and bruised. Can you save my soul? 'Cause I need you. 'Cause I need you. I'm no good, and I'm no saint. I won't pretend to be somebody I ain't. I've been in love and fell out of it too. It's been hard to trust again and feel the way I do. You only get one shot, everything to lose. Lord, take me now, I'm broken and bruised. Can you save my soul? 'Cause I need you. 'Cause I need you. I have seen some people in a pew stand up pedestal and look down on me and you. I'm not perfect, and I never claim to be. And I'm so glad Yahuah is making time for me. You only get one shot, everything to lose. Lord, take me now, I'm broken and bruised. Can you save my soul, 'cause I need you, 'cause I need you. You only get one shot, everything to lose. Lord, take me now, I'm broken and bruised. Can you save my soul, 'cause I need you, 'cause I need you.
Love it.
Thank you.
It's a good song, sister. Really amazing.
Marissa, is that song new?
Yeah, I learned it the other day. I heard the sound of it in a reel on Facebook, and so and it said the name, so I was like, oh, like just the music kind of spoke to me. So I looked up the song, and I really liked it. And yeah, Natalie, I just haven't edited that yet. I should probably say yeah in that part. But yeah, I'll probably change it.
Well, it sounded good to me, sister. Yeah, loved it. Story of two kingdoms. Choose this day who you will serve. Light versus dark. Yeah, absolutely. I like that. Yeah, it is kind of like scriptural cosmology. It really is. So that's the thing. There's a lot of they're not controversial for me because it's okay if someone doesn't agree. But so for example, people will get really triggered just by, mentioning Little Caesar. Very triggering. Same thing. You mention Yahusha is Yahuah, very triggering. And they will it just upsets them and they will, bash and things like that and say, you're this and you're that, make all these assumptions. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to share what I found in my own research. So it's okay to agree to disagree. The Shema. And look at how Pacey is requesting Shema. You pulled a fast one on Sumi there. Yeah, definitely a beautiful song, sister.
Wait, did we only get one song from Marissa today?
Yeah, no, I was hoping there would be more.
Encore, encore.
Yeah, see, look, we're cheering for you, Marissa.
I mean, I'm thinking like best friend song, but that's just me.
Yeah, me too. I'm thinking that one. She might have forgot how to play. Yeah, I don't buy that. Yeah, see, we're those fans cheering in the crowd, like encore, encore. Yeah, the lights going on, and but it's all good. I, I'm I'd like to hear another one, but well, see, Sumi's got the gift for it. Yeah, no manipulation. We don't like that. Awesome. Yay. Hold your horses. Actually, while we hold on, I'm going to stop recording and then start another one. That way I will know where exactly to separate the different videos for YouTube and such. So give me 1 second and I will do that right now.